The morning sun rises over Chimney Creek Farm, casting its pink and gold fingers across the hills. The King Stropharia mushroom spawn, quietly waiting in its box beneath our kitchen table, will be planted out in our garden. We also made our own wood chips, and it's time to bring those greenhouses down. My day begins in the garden, as it often does. The morning is still cool, the heat biding its time. I move among the plants, noting their progress. Paul is already at work, preparing the log for the mushroom dowels.
So I got this mushroom spore. I'm gonna try a few of these, drill a few holes, and just whack them in. So these are dowels that I soaked in water and then put on top, and they got quite a bit of mycelium on them. Anyway, so I'm going to drill a few holes and whack a few of these in and see what happens.
It's a heavy piece of wood, balanced precariously on two chairs, when he does have a workbench at the back, but this is where he's chosen to do it. And he grips the drill with one hand and steadies the log with the other hand, a dance between strength and precision. Something I would not recommend you trying at home. King Stropharia mushrooms are also called wine caps because they're red on the top, and I've been told that they taste like a combination of asparagus and red wine. And as expected, as the drill bites into the wood, the log shifts suddenly, and for a second I saw the drill bit just go straight into Paul's leg. But my breath catches and Paul laughs it off, ever the optimist, and adjusts the log and starts again. Next, Paul will probably drill a hole into the seat. King Stropharia mushrooms are a gift from nature, a permaculture powerhouse. They don't just grow and feed us, they transform the soil, weaving their delicate mycelium into the earth like an underground web of life. The dowels, coated in the soft white threads of mycelium, are gently tapped into place with a rubber mallet, each one a seed of new life hidden within the heart of this fallen tree branch. Hopefully they'll come up. If not, it'll just be a bit more mulch for the garden. So these mushrooms break down organic matter, turning wood chips and plant debris into nutrient-rich soil. They make the ground fertile and alive, paving the way for healthier, more productive gardens. But it doesn't stop there. King Stropharias create symbiotic relationships with plants, boosting their growth and helping them resist disease. They're nature's recyclers, taking what would otherwise go to waste and giving it new purpose. Okay.
You've got to count me in.
Rolling.
3.
In the garden bed, we spread the remaining mushroom spawn. Hopefully, these mushrooms will come up and fruit, and they'll give us more than just food. They'll give us a sense of accomplishment, a tangible reward for our efforts to work in harmony with the land. These were a gift from Lana, our permaculture teacher, who taught us to see how these mushrooms are not just a crop but a cornerstone of an ecosystem. And planting them today felt like a promise to the earth, a promise to nurture and restore, to give back as much as we take, in a world where every resource is precious. King Stropharia remind us that regeneration is possible even in the smallest corners of our farm. We cover the mushrooms over with some wood chips we made ourselves, and the wood chips have been soaking in the bucket with some water.
Made wood chips.
Paul and I went out and collected all these bits of tree branches and old logs and stumps from our property, and then we used the old mulcher to create some wood chip mulch for our sweet pea garden bed. I'm also not sure that this mulcher is meant to be towed around by a car either. It's a lot of work, and it's amazing how many tree branches you need to make enough wood chips to go around the garden. But these are the sweet peas that Kathy from Little Garden Big Dreams gave us, and we've a couple of weeks ago we've transplanted them out into the garden, and so we're adding our homemade wood chips on top to keep the moisture in for them. And we've got them against the fence, so hopefully they've got something to climb up on, and we've covered them over with a bit of chicken wire as well, because we've had one of them pulled out already. So that was the first sweet pea garden bed done. Now we'll just go over to the second one.
One there that got pulled out.
To the tune of a song, and the wind is gently ringing the bell that brings the morning, the welcome of the dawn. The voice of the robin, the call of the dove.
So we'll just put the chicken wire back up again to protect them all, at least until they just get a little bit bigger. So now our mushroom spawn are all covered up with the homemade wood chips.
Still have water in the bottom.
Thinking of the wine caps nestled in their new home beneath the garden mulch, I feel a quiet satisfaction. It's a small thing, but like so much in permaculture, it's the small things that build the bigger picture. These mushrooms and wood chips are part of our story now. By mid-morning we load up and head up to Brisbane, the sun climbing higher with every passing kilometre. The greenhouses that Kristy and her family have kindly gifted us are both a blessing and a challenge. 3 days of labour lie ahead, dismantling these structures and carting them back to Chimney Creek Farm. Eli, our 18-year-old, dives straight into the task. He starts with a smaller greenhouse, deftly undoing the tiny clips that hold the frame together, and Paul and I take on one of the larger structures. Inside we find tables made from old fencing. Kristy wants to keep these, so we carefully pull them apart, setting the panels aside for their new life as a boundary fence. The work is slow. By midday, the heat is oppressive and we take shelter under the shade of the remaining greenhouses and trees.
Yeah, I had to say, when I was pulling out
Lincoln decides to cut the top of his water tank off and use it as a plunge pool, so we've taken the top part to use it as a pond or a garden bed. The second day begins with aching muscles and sunburned skin, but we press on. It's a community effort, every hand contributing to the task at hand. Every now and then I just take a moment to pause and rest and admire the abundance of this permaculture oasis. So many herbs, shrubs and vines call to me, whispering promises of new beginnings on our land. I take a few cuttings of different things carefully into the trailer on the way home and hope that a little piece of this place will come home with us. And Daryl, ever resourceful, is ready to work on the walls of the big greenhouse at the back, cutting through the stubborn bolts and trimming the table legs to fit them into the trailer. It's another big day ahead of us. And look at all these beautiful plants and flowers everywhere. Over there under the tree are the fencing panels that Paul and I pulled out from this other big greenhouse yesterday. Paul will continue working on this one today, and I'll help Eli pull down the smaller greenhouse. On the second day, Kristy and Lincoln and Scott put on lunch for us, and Kristy's parents arrive, faces I haven't seen in over 20 years, and the memories flood back as if no time has passed. For a moment, I'm a teenager again, full of laughter and lightness. The years fall away, if only briefly.
No, just twist. I think you've got to go higher, don't you? Isn't that good?
What have you done here, Daryl, to the...
So removed the big wall there
Yeah?
and door, which is all that same mesh paneling.
Yep.
And also the cladding on the outside, which is kind of falling apart from the sun.
Great job.
Thanks. And then these frames here, the shelves. So we're taking the mesh tops off and then chopping them down with the angle grinder so we can transport them.
Awesome. We're going to have some greenhouses soon.
Yes.
For free.
And some vegetables to go.
Yes.
With the hose as well. Wrap the hose up first.
What's the update?
Are we going? You meant to count me in. 4, 3. We have taken off all the cloth around the side, taken off one roll around the base of the netting, and halfway through I've taken one strip off the roof, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more to take off the roof, and then one more around the side. And once we've done that, then we can start actually pulling the frame itself apart. And that shouldn't take too long because we can use a power tool.
After Eli and I have pulled down the smallest of the greenhouses, we start on the biggest one at the back, cutting down the wire that's holding all the panelling on the outside together. Kristy works on clearing a wider pathway for us so that we can get all the bits of the greenhouses out of the property. She looks like she's wielding those tools with practiced ease. Meanwhile, Daryl and Paul bring down the last pole of the second biggest greenhouse. Yay!
Last pole of the greenhouse. Woohoo!
Of the second one.
Yeah.
Now I've got 2 more to go. Feeling up
Did
for
you hear
it?
that?
By late afternoon, we've only dismantled 2 of the 4 greenhouses that we were planning to take. And as the sun dips low, Kristy and I share a glass of wine, watching the guys secure the load. The drive back to Chimney Creek Farm is uneventful, but the sight that greets us upon arrival is a reminder of the fragility of this life. The rats have eaten through my grammar, leaving nothing but scraps of it, and one of our 2 remaining chickens is gone. As the sun sets, painting the sky in hues of pink and orange, we unload the trailer. The greenhouse pieces dusty and worn, holding the promise of new beginnings. Tomorrow they'll rise again, offering shelter and growth. For now, though, we'll rest our weary bodies. The farm is quiet, save for the distant rustle of leaves. The day's labour settled into my bones, and I sleep deeply. This life isn't easy. It's a constant push and pull, a dance between hope and hardship. But as I drift into sleep, I know we'll wake with the dawn, ready to face it all again.